Hello everyone, my name is Debbie and we are going to be reading a story today. Welcome to the Living Library, and today we are going to be reading The Caboose Who Got Loose by Bill Peet. Have you read any of his books? They're so great. I'm going to flip this over. He has so many fun books. This was the first Bill Peet book that I ever purchased for my son, and he loved it. So let's begin. The Caboose Who Got Loose. That's a great picture. There it is. All right. When Katy Caboose rambled down the train tracks, the engines were steamers with puffing smokestacks. She was a caboose who disliked being last, with an endless black cloud of smoke rolling past. "It's not only too smoky," the caboose would complain. "There's the jerks and the jolts of this noisy freight train." The engine up front always wore a big smile as he lumbered along for mile after mile. He was proud of his being so powerful and strong that he could haul a freight train 100 cars long. So on he went, chugging, no worry or care, leaving Katy Caboose in dark clouds of despair. Katy had little hope she would ever get loose or ever being anything but a caboose. "I can wish," sighed poor Katy. "What else can I do?" "If you wish hard enough, then your wish might come true." Often Katy would wish that she someday could be something quiet and simple, like a lovely elm tree, or a ramshackle barn all alone on a hill where the noisiest things was a squeaky windmill. It might become lonely, she thought, way out here, but at least there's a view with lots of fresh air. Whenever she passed through a small country town, Katy wished she could stop and just settle down and be one of those houses who sat in a row on a tree-shaded street and have no place to go. "Oh, it's so restful," thought Katy, "where one can relax," as she hurried and scurried on down the train tracks. What she wished most to be, much more than the rest, was a cabin she'd seen on her trips through the West, a little log shack, half covered with vines, perched on a slope in a forest of pine. "How perfect," thought Katy as she hurried on by it, "to live there in the trees where it's peaceful and quiet." But all the caboose could look forward to was a deep, rocky canyon the train traveled through. Where huge boulders leaned way over the tracks in towering top-heavy, gigantic stacks. "What is holding them up?" frightened Katy would wonder as the earth-shaking train went rumbling right under. If one should come loose and fall down upon her, it would squash Katy flat, and then she'd be a goner. If she didn't get squashed, there was one more thing to dread: up the winding steep grades where the engine was headed. High up in the mountains were terrible ledges where the tracks ran along only feet from the edges. The view was breathtaking, but one look, it was so upsetting she shivered and shook. If she slipped off the track, then down she would go to be smashed into bits on the rocks far below. Look at her face. She's not sure of that. Then poor Katy received even more of a fright from a smoke-blackened tunnel as dark as the night, and she crept through the tunnel with the horrible thought that far back in the darkness she'd suddenly be caught by caboose-eating monsters who lurked all about. They would gobble her up before she got out. Her trips always ended near a city somewhere, way out in a freight yard where smoke was clouding the air, where a turmoil of trains made a great noisy rumble on crisscrossing tracks on an impossible jumble. The train came to a stop and the cars were unhitched. Then off to a side track, the caboose was soon switched, where Katy could sit and take in the fine scenery with such lovely sights as a load of machinery. Coal cars and flat cars, lumber stacked on their backs, squealing cart loads of pigs with snouts poking through the cracks. They always left Katy in the midst of it all while the engines received a complete overhaul. Okay, and I'm gonna get in. Can you see the pigs and their little snouts through the slats? There you go. The huge engine at last had run down from the strain. From the 10,000 miles it had hauled a long train. Back in the roundhouse, men swarmed all about to check over and under him, inside and out. Replacing old pistons and bolts that were missing, patching leaks in the boiler that made a loud hissing, cleaning rust from his piping that ran everywhere, checking steam valves and pumps in need of great repair. Okay, I'm gonna come a little closer. As Katy sat there through one long, dreary night, staring up through the smoke at a red signal light, a small house appeared in the sky like a ghost, a shack of the switchman perched high on a post. "Oh, I'd like to be you," said the shack very sadly. "If I could trade places, I would very gladly. A caboose is what I've always wanted to be, for you have the best life as far as I can see." And here is the shack right here. Before Katy could think of some way to reply, all at once a long freight train came thundering by, and the next thing she knew, she was jerked, then jolted, then hitched to the train with her coupler bolted. As the train left the freight yard, poor Katy looked back to catch a last glimpse of the sad little shack. From now on, Katy promised, I shall never complain. I'll be a happy caboose at the end of the train and put up with all the jolts, the train noise, and the rest, all the smoke that rolls by, or at least I'll try my best. With her new point of view, she enjoyed the long ride. It was fun on a trip through the broad countryside. But when the train crept up a steep mountain grade, then poor Katy found she was still afraid. And once more she began to shiver and shake at the thought of the frightening curves she was going to have to take. Her unsteady wheels could cause her to slip, which would suddenly put a quick end to the trip. It was a hot afternoon, so the going was rough, and the engine up front was in a puffy, big huff. He groaned, "Oh, what a day to chug up such a grade on a bare mountainside without a one bit of a shade." When he came steaming over the very last hump, he lunged with a fury that made all the cars jump. All the way back to Katy, who got such a jolt that it snapped off a rusty old coupling bolt. Oh, can you see her way back here? She was free of the train. Oh, at last she was loose, and away down the track went Katy Caboose. On down the grades she flew, faster and faster, straight for a curve, certain disaster. When Katy hit the curve, she took off like a kite, high over the treetops on her first and last flight. That would quickly have ended poor Katy Caboose if it hadn't been for the two towering spruce. The caboose became caught in a very tight squeeze between the tall trunks of two evergreen trees. At first she could hardly believe her good luck. What a wonderful place it was to be stuck. She thought she sure was dreaming it. It couldn't be true. Here she was in the trees with a beautiful view. Oh, it's so perfect, sighed Katy. Yet I'm really not free. I know sooner or later they're going to come after me. And then, sure enough, up the mountains that night came a train with a crane and a powerful light. "Oh, she could have gone leaping off here," came a shout, like a great glaring eye. Then the light searched about. It flashed past the trees, down the steep, rocky bluff, and it searched high and low, but never quite high enough. Or it would have soon spotted the missing caboose. But all they could find was a startled bull moose. Let's call it quits, growled the boss of the crew. For all that I care, she's in Kalamazoo. Katy stayed in the treetops. No one ever found her, except for the squirrels and the birds around her. At last she was free, just as free as the breeze. And how Katy did love it up in the trees. And indeed, oh indeed, oh indeed, she did. I hope you liked that story. It was in rhyme. I love it. We'll see you next time.